Well, today's video is going to be a little discussion on Dewalt Stealthsonic shop vacs versus an old standard shop vac. So what I have here, you see, this is my old Craftsman, and I've had this probably 40 years. I mean, I bought this thing in the early 80s and it has served me well. But I'm going to show you, first of all, I'm going to show you what this thing sounds like compared to the Dewalts, the Stealthsonics, because they are unbelievably quiet. Of course, I got to find a place to plug this in. I guess I should have done that first, but anyway. Alright, I had this hooked up to a switch on my miter saw so that when I turn the miter saw on, it automatically starts up. And I do the same thing with the Dewalts. But obviously, you can tell how loud these things are. It's super loud. It's like a jet engine. It's just insane. So after running the Dewalt, I said, no, there's no way I'm keeping this one. Now this is a 16-gallon, and I got a 12-gallon to replace it because I find that I don't really need a 16-gallon. I mean, it's, you know, but now that I have dust collection at all my tools, the shop vac doesn't really get used as much as it used to, so I don't really need a 16-gallon anymore. So I bought a 12-gallon to replace it. Now the other thing that I don't like about this versus you know, the Dewalts, and first of all, hang on a second here. I'm going to take you over. Let's see here. Excuse my shop, it's a wreck right now. I have multiple projects going on at the same time, so no cleaning. Alright, I'm going to pause this. Okay, so let's try this again. So the original Stealthsonic that I bought is this 9-gallon Dewalt, and I have it hooked up to a trigger switch, and right now it's hooked up to a sander, and this is pretty much the only thing I use this particular vac for, is just sanding. I have it hooked up to my sanders. So how this works is when I trigger the tool, the vacuum will come on. Now the crazy part about this is the sander makes more noise than the vacuum does. So I can turn the vacuum on with this switch here, just the vacuum only, and you can hear it sucking through the sander. It actually makes more noise, but it's insanely quiet. And it works really well. The suction on these things is phenomenal. You wouldn't, you know, because it's so quiet, you're like, is it working? But yeah, it works great. So, getting that 9-gallon and turning it on, excuse me while I walk back over here to the tripod, is what led me to get another one for the shop, which I will have hooked up to the miter saw. In fact, this is where this one lives most of the time. It's going to live under here. Here's the miter saw on the top, right? And then there's the hose that comes down for the miter saw. And this is, you know, it pretty much lives here. Now if I want, all I got to do is just disconnect that hose from it, and then I can use it as a normal shop vac, which I often do. But I haven't done it in the shop in a long time. The shop's pretty dirty right now. Like I say, I have too many projects going on at one time. So the other thing that I don't like about, let's see if I get you a little closer. The other thing that I don't like about this old Craftsman was cleaning it, dumping it, emptying it. It was a pain in the butt, and right now it's full. It needs to be cleaned. And I'm going to show you what it looks like here in a second. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, one of the things that I hated was cleaning this thing. Now, the new vacs, I use bags in them. This one here, I've never used a bag in it, and I'm going to show you. This is why I hate cleaning this thing, and it needs it right now really bad. Because, look at that filter. It is just absolutely caked. And the drum is only like half full. But all the fine dust plugs this thing up, and there really is no way to put a bag on this thing. I mean, look at this. A cloud of dust. This thing is going to be a nightmare to clean. I'm really not looking forward to this. It has to be done though. The reason is I'm going to give it away. I'm giving it to one of my neighbors. So this thing is going to go bye-bye. So I'm going to push it out of the way for now. And what I got, this is the new 12 gallon. Okay. And I'm going to take this out of the box in a minute here. And this is just like the other one, only it's a little bigger. And I think the hose on this one's a little bigger than the other one too. But it comes with all the attachments. I'm going to be using the bags with this because it's going to make it a lot easier to clean and to dump. You're not going to have to breathe all that dust every time you go to do it. And let's face it, if you're like most people, if it's difficult to do, to clean it, you're not going to do it. So let's see what we got here. Now I ended up getting this, let's see, today it's Thanksgiving Day. I bought this like a week ago on from Lowe's, and it was on sale, and I got it for 119 bucks. And that's pretty good. I think I paid more than that for my little 9 gallon. And this is nice. Here's the bag. It's going to hang on the back so that all the attachments can go in it. Let's see what we got here. Pull this out of the box. Get the bag off. Alrighty. Now I'm going to assume that there's more attachments on the inside. Alrighty, there she is. Let's see what's inside. I'm going to assume the wheels. Now on my other shop vac, the little 9 gallon, I didn't put the wheels on it because I don't roll it around. Yeah, this has got a bigger hose, bigger diameter hose. The other one I didn't put the wheels on because it stays under the shelf. It's a dedicated sanding vacuum. Yeah, there's all kinds of attachments in here. Blocks for the handles. Dropping things. Butterfingers. Alright, they give you one bag, but I have some others, but that'll get me started. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera. I'm going to get this thing back together, and then I'll come back. Okay, so nothing to this. Wheels just pop right on. Okay, they just slide right in. Nothing to it. Put a screw in it. And just like that. Now we'll flip her over, put the brackets on with the handle. Let's see how this is going to go. Goes in from the inside. see if I can get that started. Yep. Okay, and that one's on. Do the other one here. Oh, looks like I got an extra screw. I wonder what that's for. Uh-oh. There we go. Alrighty. And I got one extra screw. Alright, so put the bag on. This is going to make cleanup so much easier, and it's going to stop a lot of the dust. It's going to keep the filter clean. It's going to prevent a lot of that dust from even getting to the filter. And they just slip on. There's nothing to it. You slip that on. Now, I have a HEPA filter on the other vac. I bought an aftermarket HEPA filter off of Amazon. But being that I'm running these bags, and this is going to be just a general shop vacuum, I decided that I'm going to run the stock white filter that came with it. And then I have one off the 9-gallon. I think it's the same size, so that if it does get, you know, wore out, dirty, you know, plugged up beyond use, I'll save the HEPA filters for the sanding, because that creates a finer dust. So let's see what we got here. Here's all my tools. This is kind of cool having this little bag on here. See, on the other one, the old Craftsman, there was no tool storage on it. So, you know, this stuff ended up being on the workbench and being in the way, and I like that this one has the tools on it. So, let's plug this one in. See what this one sounds like. Of course, I don't have the hose on it, but that's okay. Look at that. That's just crazy. I can't believe how quiet these things are. Now this one actually has, it's got 2 vents on the back, and it's got one on the side over here. And I mean, it's really got suction. But I mean, I can stand right next to this thing, and I'm sure you can hear me talking. Now it has, you know, the 2 diffusers on the back here, and then it's got one on the side too. And you can feel air coming out of it. There's quite a bit of air coming out of it. So there's, you know, the tool bag hanging on the back. That's pretty nice. So, yeah, I mean, much easier on the ears. The old Craftsman, I mean, you had to have hearing protection on to run that. This one here, you don't have to. So, I have a hose for it. Most of the time it's going to be hooked up to the other hose, but it's nice to have. And then this one gives you got your little rubber strap here for your hose. It keeps it from getting too unruly. But this one's going to get wheeled over and placed underneath the miter saw station, and then I'll plug the hose into this. So this is not supposed to be a formal review on the Stealthsonic vacuum, you know, over all the specs and all the details. I mean, there's a million of them out there on YouTube. I'm just stating that I was so blown away by how quiet these things are, and the fact that I can put a dust bag in the inside of the can makes it so much easier to empty it and change the drum or the bag. Super quiet. Going to save wear and tear on the filter. It's going to keep filter maintenance and keeping the filters clean. And let's face it, when your performance falls off on your vacuum, it's because your filter's plugged. So having these bags on the inside is going to prevent a lot of that. And then, like I say, you can get a HEPA filter for these if you want. For the price of this thing, $119 at Lowe's. I just walked in, put one in my cart, went to the register, paid for it, walked right out. They're still running them on sale right now. They do make a 16-gallon if anybody needs something that big, but for me in my shop, being that I have 2 dust collectors in my shop, it's really not necessary. So I'm going to wheel this thing over, and I'm going to put it in its home, and I'm going to show you what the hookup on that is. Okay, so this is where it's going to live, of course, underneath the miter saw. And it connects to this blue hose, and it's used for, pretty much living here to collect the dust from the dust collector, or from the miter saw. Now I also have it plugged into one of these boxes. I have it set so it's on a 7-second delay. So after it shuts off, it'll run for 7 seconds, and then, after the miter saw shuts off, it'll run for 7 seconds, and then it'll shut off. So I ran the hose, the cord up through the hole in the workbench here. It comes in from underneath. You can see it back there. And I also like how the cord wraps around the handle on this. This is a nice feature. So I'm going to push it back in its place. And even with the accessory bag on, it's still pretty compact. So this is the hose that goes to the miter saw, and it'll just plug in right here. And so now, there, it's tucked back out of the way. It's not in the way of my feet when I'm standing here at the miter saw. And let's give you an idea of what it sounds like when the miter saw is running. Oops, I don't have it on. There it is. Let's try this again. I forgot to turn the switch on. So now the switch is on all the time on the vacuum, and now it's tool triggered. So when I turn the tool on, she automatically comes on. And it'll run for 7 seconds here, and then it shuts off. Way quieter. Way quieter than that old Craftsman. Now, that old Craftsman has served me well. I bought that in the early 80s. But it's time to go. At one point the cord got damaged and I put another cord on it, but it's just so loud. It's like a jet engine. I'm just so done with that. I'm really happy with this Stealthsonic. It comes with all the attachments and everything. So now my shop vacs are updated in my shop. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Like, subscribe if you like what I do. And we'll catch you on the next one.